This is only for coaches and experts that want to make $1 to $10 million a year, as I'm going to walk you through the exact 8-step flywheel model that me and my team use to do exactly this. Now, this is going to be episode number 1 of a series that I've taken straight out of a $3,000 course that we used to sell. So you could get the most out of this by actually clicking the link that's going to be in the description, because along with these series of training videos that I want to share with you for free are actually going to be their emails that give you the materials, the playbooks, and everything else for you to actually practically use with this as well. Now, I am giving this away for free for 2 reasons. 1, I know that there are a lot of coaches out there that just can't afford to partner with us, and well, it makes me a little bit sad because I want to help as many people as possible, but also if I try and help absolutely everybody, then I actually create a pretty crappy business and I can't go deep with the partners that we actually want to be able to scale to the moon, as our business model is actually growing our partners' businesses. And it sucked having to turn away so many people because they just weren't at the level needed for us to be able to partner with them to be able to scale them. But secondly, and selfishly, I do know that there are a small percentage of you that will go through this and see the light to us to be able to come in to build, install, and run the marketing and sales system so that you can have a predictable machine to grow your business for you. Now, to make this episode really practical for you, I'm going to pretend that you and I are sitting down to a coffee right now, and you ask me something along the lines of, Chris, I want to double or triple or more my business in the next 12 months. Show me how you're going to do it. And so to be specific, I'm going to lay out a game plan in this episode that is going to be able to grow your profits by 258% in the next 12 months or sooner. Now, if you haven't seen a previous episode of the behind the scenes look into an actual planning session with myself and with one of our clients, and specifically this client's plan was to get to $2 million a month, then I'll pop a link in the description for you to be able to get that, because that will be showing you one of the key accelerators that we use in this flywheel model. So if you haven't watched that, I highly recommend that you watch that after this as well. But stick with me for now, don't get sidetracked, because the simplicity and the power of everything culminating is why these 8 accelerators work so well, which is why I'm so confident right now that if you just actually go through the steps that I'm sharing with you in this episode, and why this is episode 1 of the series that is what we used to sell as a $3,000 course, we know that this works. You just have to use it at the end of the day. So if you've watched how to sign on 5 to 20 plus high ticket clients a week episode, you'll see me walk through the exact RMAS method. And this is literally showing you how we're signing on 20 new clients a week and how you can have the exact same system installed into your business. But like the example that I give in the RMAS method, this is not a linear process. And so this bad boy is all about exploring exponential growth. And so I want you to think about this as the Avengers movies, as we have Thanos, the dude that wants to take over the universe, but let's replace him with you, a really smart coach, and your goal is to create an amazing, profitable business that's positively impacting lives. So where Thanos needs 6 infinity stones to be able to take over the entire universe, all you need is actually to use these systems in place. In the RMAS method, there are 6 actual key playbooks to use. But what I'm going to show you in this episode is the actual methodology that goes actually 40,000 foot view, looking over everything, and the exact process I use when scaling a 7 to 8 figure coaching business. Because this is really how you have a client on demand profit generating machine. So without it all working together, you don't really have the power as Thanos needs for all of those infinity stones to take over the universe. It's actually really about having this, why I call it a flywheel effect, to have these 8 accelerators working together as well. So the way this math works, and stick with it because I'm a meathead, so if I can get it, I'm sure you can as well, is all we need to do to get a 248% increase in your profits in the next 12 months or less is we only need a 17% bump in each of these 8 key accelerators. 17%. It's not very big. And I'm literally going to walk you through the math in each one of these so that you can be able to see it, because that's the power. It's a compounding effect. It's all of these things working together to be able to get a far better bump in what's needed, which is why so many coaches struggle, because they're doing two things really wrong, to be perfectly honest. One key mistake is they're not actually diagnosing the key constraint that they should be working on right now, which is the thing that I actually, to be perfectly honest, I can't tell you in this episode. I'm shooting this right now, not knowing you and your situation. So you're going to have to be able to figure out why you need to work on one accelerator over the others. Now, you can just work in them in a clockwise fashion. Okay, that's good. Is that the optimal approach? No, it's not, which is why we actually do demo calls with potential partners, because we want to see what is actually going to be the constraint we want to fix first, and then we just rinse and repeat that process every cycle. So let's actually get into this and make this really easy for you. First thing we need to be able to do, we need to increase leads. We need to increase leads with where you're at now by only 17%, remember. And there's going to be two main ways that we want to do this. Firstly, we're going to increase your ad spend by only 17%. Now, if I'm spending $100 a day on ads, I'm just going to spend $117 a day. And that is going to be a small little bump needed to be able to get what we needed to get our entire effect. Now, to be perfectly honest, that's probably the easiest thing that we could probably do straight off the jump. And you'll see how it's a culminating effect through everything. So you're probably saying, holy shit, Chris, you're just telling me to spend a little bit more on ads to get more leads. Yes, I am, but it'll be in effect with everything else. Now, the second way is to add in one extra call to action per week. So let's just say you're using IG stories or emails or reel posts or a video or sending DMs. And let's say, for example, you're posting 30 times a month. Now, what you need to do is you only need to be doing 35 posts a month. So you only need 5 extra posts a month, which is just the incremental bump that we need of 17% to be able to get more content, more offers actually there. So by me saying make your post 17% better, because there's quality and there's quantity, right? So I've said quantity, increase it by 5 posts a month, and you get that incremental 17% bump. I can't say in this context right now, make your content 17% better, because how the hell are you going to actually measurably do that? That's not going to be the case at all. Okay. So increasing leads 17%, there's 2 ways for you to do it. Second way, increase your conversions. Now, there's 2 ways we're going to increase your conversions. Firstly, we're going to be testing your headline to make the main opt-in page that you're doing. Now, we only need an 8% bump along with the second method that we use. Now, this is one of the key things that we do with our partners and even inside of the Rainmakers ourselves. We're constantly split testing the headlines, because that is going to be the main mover to get an opt-in page to be able to get more traffic through at the end of the day. So we only need an 8% increase. So this is where we need to be able to go through what are actually going to be the best performing headlines that we've used before, but what is going to be essentially connecting your offer with your audience so they see it, they read it and go, oh my God, this is a no-brainer, and they're going to take that next step. So to get an 8% bump in that, we're just going to split test your headlines. Then what we need to be able to do is we then need to be able to update your sales scripts and your sales process. Okay, so again, we only need an 8% bump in your actual conversion conversations by going through your scripts and your process. Scripts, process. And so we do this by properly positioning for the actual call. Little side tangent is a case, your prospects, your market, pretty sure nobody has ever woken up thinking, I want a discovery call today. I want a strategy call today. They don't want that. What they want is they want a solution to their problem. So are you positioning in your sales process? Let's say if you're doing, you're closing deals via calls or Zoom, or if you're closing deals through DMs, you've got to get them to that point of having the DM or having the call. Have you positioned it properly as to why they're going to say, yes, I'm going to talk with a complete stranger on the internet. I'm going to spend my very important time and attention to be able to go into that process. And that is where we need to have a proper and simpler closing process back onto that as well. So by just increasing your conversions, again, through the actual sales scriptings, but the process, so positioning the call so you get more people onto it, but then actually the actual scripting of that sales conversation as well. And I just see far too many coaches making this way too complex as well. There is going to be one specific episode literally walking through how we set up our sales call process as well. So to be able to get that, just make sure that you go through this series, you'll get that episode as well. Now, the next key accelerator we want to work on is going to be increasing your transaction size, or i.e. your pricing. So let's say, for example, that you're charging $700 a month for your program right now. We've got the 17% bump that we need. Now, a lot of coaches, when I say, hey, we're just going to increase your price, their sphincters start to tighten up on this one. But many times when you actually do it properly, many times we actually see conversions go up by charging more. So I understand, because this was me not that long ago as well, the idea of, well, if I charge less, I get more people to actually sign on. Not true, not exactly true. So we actually are able to increase the price of what that is needed. So again, really easy example. If you're charging $700 a month, charge $80. That's the bump that we need. You could go up $849, for example, and see what that is. And again, my process for pricing is we actually continue to push the price up and see where the conversions start to dip down. So if you're charging $700 a month, I will say, hey, you know what? Let's next price test. The next 10 sales calls, you're going to test it at $849. And we see, let's say the conversions stay the exact same. Then we're going to go, okay, great. Let's go to $899 a month. And let's say the exact same. So you keep going up until you see a dramatic decrease in your conversions. But you do have to do the math to know how far to go up, because it's probably a lot higher that you can before that decrease in conversions is actually going to harm your profits at the end of the day. Cool? Cool. Now, we want to be able to decrease churn. Okay, this is one of the key ones. I've said a lot of times, I'll probably keep banging on about this again, but the easiest way to double your business is actually to halve your churn. So let's just say, for example, you've got 150 clients in your program, and let's say you have a 4% monthly churn. So for us to be able to get our 17% increase, that means we only need, remember, we had a 4% churn, 17% better means we only need a monthly churn of 3.32%. Okay, so at a 4% churn of 150 clients, that means you're going to be churning somewhere about 6 clients per month. So if we know that we go, okay, we want to get to a 3.3% churn rate, that means we only need a churn of 5 clients a month. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, you only need 1 less client to leave for you to be able to get your target bump. So how do you actually do that? Because I want to make this practical. There's 2 key ways that we start off with. 1, the better onboarding process. And we go through the exact every single touch point from when a client is on a sales conversation and says, yes, I'm in, here's my credit card. Everything that we're thinking after that, every touch point that happens, we want it to be able to have 1, less complex, 2, better communication, and 3, smaller bites of the actual process they need, okay? So better onboarding is going to make a vastly massive difference in the actual churn process. Secondly, a quick wins process. Now, for example, in one of the episodes we have in this series for the free course is actually going to be me giving you our 12-day cash campaign. So we created this 12-day cash campaign because on average, it took us about 7 to 14 days to get a partner's funnels, copy, offer, and ads up and running, which is actually, to tell you the truth, I think it's pretty quick and pretty bloody awesome. But however, I wanted to make it better. So for our process, what we actually did was we created a 12-day cash campaign. So then we create using this framework, and you'll get this. So you can use and abuse it for yourself in this series. But we create all of the copy and everything in that actual offer for a new client so that they're actually able to start signing on clients within 3 to 4 days. Okay, so from signing on, they're already making money, which makes us effectively free once that 3 to 4 day mark, because we're able to use a piece of IP, a strategy that is going to get some quick wins right off the board. Now, can you continue to use that quick wins process the entire time? No, absolutely not. That's why we move on to everything else to have that reliable, predictable machine to bring in new clients. However, because we have a quick wins process, now we know that our new partners that come on board are super happy within the first couple of days because they're already like, we've already made a bunch of cash. So you need to think of it in your process. What is your quick wins process? What are you doing so within a really short period of time, your clients are saying, oh, this is so worth it already? That's what you want to be able to answer. Have you subscribed? If not, this is the best time for you to subscribe, whether you're on the YouTube or on the podcast. Why? Because it would be a bummer if you missed out on everything that's to come, or don't subscribe if you're not actually getting much value out of this, because there is a zillion other things that you could be doing. So I'd rather you go and do that. The ball's in your court. Now, the next accelerator we want to be able to focus on is increasing offers. Okay, so increasing offers is simply about increasing what you have to sell. So let's say you're a fitness coach and you're selling an online training program. You could add selling an affiliate supplements to your quiver. You could have the actual idea of thinking about what are all the different problems that your client has, and then what is a solution to one of those problems that you're not serving right now. So a business coach could have an affiliate program with, say, a bookkeeper to provide a service that they're not currently being able to serve with their clients, but they're able to add another offer, and you can do it without you having to build and service everything. You could have a joint venture agreement with somebody that could be able to do that for you to increase that offer, which makes it really easy. So for example, with us at the Rainmakers, we first started off just doing the marketing and the lead generation. And we found that we were so good at the marketing and lead generation, one of the biggest problems our partners face, they didn't have the sales team or the sales process or the sales systems to be able to handle the amount of new leads coming in for them to be able to have their growth. So then we just had to make the decision, okay, you know what? We're going to build an in-house team of done sales reps that are going to be able to actually close the deals for our clients as well. So now we're able to do the lead generation, the marketing, and the entire sales process, effectively giving our partners their new clients on a silver platter. That was our method of increasing the actual offers. So what is yours? So the next accelerator we want to focus on is increasing TAM. So this is about increasing your total addressable market. So we can slightly open up to the ideal clients, to who this actually is. Who are you actually serving? So let's just say, for example, you're an online business coach and you're focusing on small business owners in a specific industry like e-commerce, for example. Now, to expand your target audience, you want to be able to think about, okay, well then maybe you're just focusing on English speaking e-commerce owners that are in the US, and let's say your total market right now is 10,000 potential clients that you could have. Now, the strategy is how can you then expand to other areas, let's say geographically. So can you go to UK or Canada or Australia, and to be able to only add, remember, we only need a 17% increase, then we are able to add only 1,700 potential clients. Think about it. In the entire world of people that you're able to serve right now, can you add a potential 1,700 people to who you can actually serve? Yes, most likely you can. So you want to be able to diversify your offerings to be able to attract different people, just slightly wider from who it is. Now, a lot of coaches go slightly awry with this. So this is probably one of the most technical out of all of the accelerators, which one to do, because they either go or too broad. And this is where you don't want to try and service absolutely everybody, but you want to see who are the people that you're already servicing this exact line of market. How can you go a little bit wider? Can you increase the people that you are able to serve without, and this is the important part, without cannibalizing what you've already built as well. So this is the caveat when it comes to increasing TAM. Now, there's also the look is increasing profits. Okay, so by increasing profits, we do this by a couple of different ways. a really easy way is doing upsells or cross-sells to existing clients. So this is where if you have a current offer, a basic coaching package, and you introduce them to a premium tier with additional features, maybe one-on-one sessions, maybe they want more access to you as their head honcho, whatever that is. But you want to encourage your existing clients to upgrade to a higher level for you to be able to service them at a higher capacity that makes their life easier. So for example, if you have 20% of your clients upgrade to a service, that's 50% more expensive. Your overall revenue is going to increase significantly by doing that. So you've got to think about with the way that you're currently serving your clients right now, and even the way that I think about this to get started with, don't try and use that magical S word, scale. Don't think, oh, this next program that I'm going to do, this next higher tier has to be really scalable. Just run it as an experiment first. I've done this in previous businesses. We've helped many other coaches do this in their businesses as well. You're going to have a higher tier service and you're going to be really open and honest with the offer and you go, hey, I'm only going to do this for 3 months or 6 months or 12 months maximum, and we're going to see if this actually works or not. So show them that this is something that you're opening up and not something you have perfectly dialed in, because it could be something you could get to the end of this 6 months running and go, you know what, it's not worth the time. Or you could get to the end of that time period and go, this is absolutely amazing. Now I want to scale it. How do we start to scale it? So don't think of scaling first. Think of actually delivering an amazing experience and results with them, then being able to go through it. Because there's cross-selling related services. So if you offer, let's say, business coaching, consider added other services such as the financial planning, marketing strategy, productivity tools, CRM processes, all of these things that you can start to add to your quiver. That is essentially how you're going to be able to better help them without compromising the quality of what you're doing now. Now, when it comes to the accelerator of increasing profits, one of the easiest ways, and I think I've actually nearly thrown up in my mouth many times when I've gone through this process, which is simply looking at what are the actual subscriptions or softwares that maybe you're not using or not fully utilizing, and are you able to cancel or downgrade these services? Because even a small savings can add up to a 17% increase in just net profits over time. So really looking at where are you actually spending your money? Now, what scares me is a lot of the times when we sit down with a partner to go through this process, they don't know where their money's really going. And that's where we just are able to introduce a really simple scorecard that looks at all of the key metrics inside of the business and then also has all of the expenses as to what's happening inside of that business. And then we can be really critical and go, is this expense really actually pushing the business to be able to grow profitably and to grow the way that we want it, and to be perfectly honest, having the ease that you want in your business as well. So there's being able to actually just cut the expenses that you just don't need or making smarter decisions with them. But then there is the increasing your operational efficiency as well. So this is where you want to look at, can you automate administrative tasks, use tools for automatic scheduling, billing, client communication, content delivery, being able to reduce the time you spend in your administrative tasks, not just for you, but for your team as well. Because one of the key metrics I look for inside of my business is how much revenue is each team member generating. And I want to be able to have that at a very high level, because I don't want, this is just me personally, I don't want this massive team and when it's super complex. I believe that I'm able to deliver a world-class experience and service with the partners that we work with, but we can do this with a small, nimble, agile gun team of people that I can pay really goddamn well, but are able to do this without adding extra complexity inside of that business. But I just don't want to have to deal with that stuff. But then really importantly, when it comes to the operational efficiency inside of the business, I want you to more think about the operating system. So any task that happens more than once, that is a recurring task inside of your business, is it clearly delegated to a team member, and is it clearly set with a due date so they know exactly when that task needs to get done, and is it checklisted out? So let's just say I think about, and this will be actually an episode in this series as well, but I think about an alien abduction plan. So let's just say, for example, I literally went through this inside of my company and I was like, alien abduction plan for Chris. If I got abducted by aliens tonight, what would happen in the business? I'm just not here anymore. what would happen? How does everybody continue to go through the process? How does my team actually go, well, we didn't even know Chris was here. He's up with the aliens. Okay, cool. The process is I want to be able to make sure that my business is bomb-proof. And I want you to be able to have that as well, because I believe that once that happens, once you've got some security built inside of your business, yes, we've been talking about creating wild profits and all the good stuff with the money. Yeah. But what I really care about is I want to help myself and I want to help my partners sleep like a brick. And I believe that comes through two ways. One, you sleep really well when you know you have a system that brings in leads, closes them, signs on new clients, and is just a machine that is repeating over itself. But two, I sleep much better when I know my business is running like clockwork, because that means I'm not in there having to be there, put out fires, tearing my hair out, or thinking that I have to be there the entire time working. That's not the good stuff. So now, the real magic happens when you are able to do two things. And this is going to be the theme from this episode and every episode in this series, and probably every episode that I continue to shoot that provides value, which is going to be the case of, are you doing the right thing at the right time? So remember, it's first about diagnosing what is the highest leverage constraint for you to solve, and then installing that right solution into your business. Then building on that and ensuring you continue to have the sequencing and momentum needed. That's all we're doing at the end of the day. It's as simple as that. So that's why we offer a free one-on-one demo, because this is our way of first making sure that we can identify the holes inside of your business, and then what are the key strategies and playbooks needed to be able to solve that key constraint, and then answer all of your questions as well. Because then we know that we can actually confidently come in and be able to grow your business. Because we have a success guarantee, we have zero incentive of having people come on board that we know they're not confident that we can be able to scale them really quickly. Because that just means we're going to be refunding all of their money. It's a massive waste of time for them. It's a massive waste of time for us. I don't want to have to deal with that crap. So the real idea is, can we first identify everything that's needed inside of your business in 15 minutes? Because let's be perfectly honest, we don't have a ton of time and I don't want to waste your time. And that's why we do that all in a demo call. So if you haven't booked in your demo call, I highly suggest you do, and I'm slightly biased, but if you are looking to be able to have that predictable, reliable system, you want us to go through this flywheel model and do it exactly for you, then it's the easiest way for us to be able to do that. Now, really importantly, there are going to be at least 10 other episodes in this free course series that is going to be taking you through the main parts of the exact marketing and sales system for you to be able to use. So I want you to go through each and one of those steps at a time. Don't race through this. I'm going to be actually producing these episodes like this episode today, where you know that you can come back to it, rewatch different parts to it, understand it, and then be able to actually use it as well. I don't want this as just like, this is not entertainment. This is not something that you're going to watch, but it's like, this is going to make me feel good and this is going to be fun. I'm not funny, and you're not going to be watching this because you want to be able to have some feel goods. You're wanting to actually watch this because you're wanting to build your business at the end of the day. So that's why I want you to go through each and one of these episodes nice and slowly, but make sure you go through all of it, because remember, it's the culminating effect at the end of it. And that's something I just want you to understand. Understand that once you start putting each and one of these pieces together, and from this one, a 17% bump in each of these 8 accelerators means you're able to get a 250 something plus % growth in your bottom line at the end of the day. I think that's pretty cool, and that's what I want you to do. If you've enjoyed this episode and it's vibed with you, then make sure that you hit subscribe, whether you're on the YouTube or on the podcast. And importantly, if there is any guests that you want me to have on the show, or specific questions or topics that you want me to be able to cover for you, simply put it into the YouTube comments or send me an Instagram DM. That way I can make sure you're getting the most out of actually being here.